from Georgia saying that islands float in the water. That's an old clip to illustrate something. There are smart technocrats and globalist controllers who try to guide this planetary system for their own gain. But so many of the dishonorable weirdos that work for the system really believe islands float. They really believe Obamacare is free. They really believe that communism is good. And so a lot of them really are just idiots, but we bow down to them and let them run our lives. And so that's why the world's so screwed up, because good men and women have done nothing. And so now it's time to change that and stop complying with these people. Let's play the clip of this kook Democrat congressman, Representative Joe Garcia, saying that communism's good. Here it is.
We've proved that communism works. If you give everybody a good government job, there's no crime. But that isn't what we should be doing on the border, the kind of money that we've poured into there. And we're having a diminishing return. So while we're spending all this money here, we have border problems in
by the way, the borders in California, Texas are crime-ridden cesspits. But he's saying there's low crime and everything. Next will say Mexico's wonderful. Highest crime rate in the world per capita for the nation. Chicago beats them out as the top city because they have a gun ban there as well. It's run by communists, basically, and mafia that's above the law. Again, you live under communism, they're exempt from it in palaces. And there's no taxes too high, like France, 101% for the middle class, because the ruling elite are exempt. And they get your tax money, so of course it's going to be 100%. Because you put up with it. That's the level of tyranny you'll live under. What's the congressman's name? Remind me. We've got the clip here. Yeah, Hank Johnson. Guam will tip over. And again, we've got other kooky clips from these people, you know, about your kids don't belong to you. But let's go ahead and play this clip of Hank Johnson.
That the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that. The Guam population, I think, currently about 175,000, and again, with 8,000 Marines and their families, it's an addition of about 25,000 more into the population.
And also things like the environment, the sensitive areas of the environment, coral reefs and those kinds of things. And I know that, you know, lots of people don't like to think about that, but...
Oh, that's enough. That's Hank Johnson. I want to draw an image for him for TV viewers. Radio listeners, I'm going to describe it. This is just for Hank Johnson and other people that literally have been put into power by the establishment because they're dumber than a box of tiddlywinks. I mean, this is just amazing. You've got the ocean, and the deepest place in the world is the Marianas Trench, and it's, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 feet deep. Okay, but in most places, you've got a lot of islands where like the Caribbean, around Belize, where it's only on average about 30 feet deep, and you've got islands, usually coral islands, but also volcanic islands, that stick up, okay? So in the topography, like you see hills, Hank Johnson, when you're out driving around the countryside, well, if there was water over that, you know, where you're at sea level, those hills would be islands, okay? You know, with things like palm trees on top of them. So if you build cities on those and things, and you have people living on those, it doesn't tump over. It's not floating. Islands aren't boats, okay? Then you get too many people over here, and then it capsizes, all right? And I want to explain communism's a nightmare as well. It does. Islands don't float, and communism doesn't float either. It does actually capsize. So just explain to you how islands work, and I want to explain to Garcia how communism works. It's really a coming out of these people. The parading around that you can't have a taco party or it's racist, a fiesta. You can't have a petting zoo because Arabs don't like you having camels. I mean, what is this mass mental illness? What is this? We're talking to Mike Howard of 94.3 there in Knoxville, Tennessee. Or am I extreme? Maybe islands do float. Maybe I'm being racist right now.
I think your drawing was racist because one of your people should have been black. They were both white, but that's neither here nor there. You know, I'd like to tell Representative Garcia that, at one time we actually proved that the United States works very well. If he wants to say that communism works, well, that's great. Well, the United States works very well, and it has for a long, long time, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. No matter how hard they try to make it go away, no matter how hard they try to sink it, we're still going to be here, and we're still here, and we're still fighting each and every day. This idea of, I'm just going to sit here now and just lie to you. I'm just going to tell you direct lies. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to tell you, and it has nothing matching with anything that's going on, and you're going to believe it. And we've been so beat down and so dumbed down and so conditioned to just accept it and take it. And that can't go on anymore. That's got to stop, Alex. That's got to stop.
But Mike, if you question an anointed God who says that islands float, you're being a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
If there's any problem,
you're
Al
not going
Sharpton,
along with the narrative, and of course the narrative is I'm smarter than you, and you just need to accept that. Whether I'm talking about islands floating, whether I'm talking about global climate change, whether I'm talking about whatever I decide to tell you. If I tell you the sky is purple, and you
it is. That's enough racism from you. We'll be right back.
Memorial Day is a time of remembrance of our fallen soldiers who died for our freedom. In honor of these brave men and women, AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com is offering huge discounts on several great products. AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com is veteran-owned and operated, so stop what you're doing and support a like-minded company and save a few bucks at the same time. The Memorial Day sale starts right now and ends on May 26th at midnight. Honor above all. AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com. That's AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com.
Tired of taking handfuls of vitamin pills? Look and feel super with a great-tasting liquid vitamin and mineral supplement called Passion for Life. This incredible 1-ounce daily drink can lead to better stamina and energy due to faster, more complete absorption. Passion for Life contains 135 all-natural whole food ingredients. It's the best-tasting, most powerful product of its kind on the market. Order now by calling 844-TRY-LIFE or find out much more about Passion for Life by visiting 844TryLife.com. 844TryLife.com.
To thank you for being a loyal listener, we have a limited time freebie offer for you. Claim your free heirloom tomato seeds, just pay shipping, right now at 123freeseeds.com. These aren't ordinary seeds. These are heirloom, non-genetically modified super seeds that are open pollinated and can be grown, harvested, and replanted endlessly. These survival seeds are actually more valuable than gold in a crisis. Go to 123freeseeds.com and you can get an airtight storage packet of 150 super seeds free while supplies last to say thank you for being a loyal listener. First come, first served. Just cover shipping. Go to 123freeseeds.com now to see if your free heirloom seeds are still available. That's 123freeseeds.com.
A chemical spill contaminating the water supply in 9 West Virginia counties.
This year alone, over 300,000 people in West Virginia had their drinking water contaminated.
What are the health effects of having these drugs in our drinking water?
It's forced medical treatment without the consent of residents.
My friends, water filtration is one of the most basic actions you can take to protect you and your family from the harmful toxins and heavy metals in your tap water.
On average, the county says it sprays with the glyphosate at least once a week.
Few filters cut out the glyphosate that is found in water supplies worldwide. Remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, hydrofluorosilicic acid, sodium hexafluorosilicate.
Fluoride, it is in tea, it's in coffee, it's in water, it's in bread, it's in toothpaste.
It is our responsibility to protect our families. The establishment's not going to do it. It's time to take action. It's time to filter our water. Visit InfoWarsStore.com and use promo code WATER to get 10% off their entire family of incredible products. Or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
Folks are born made to wait to fly. Ooh, the red, white, and blue. The red, white, and blue. And when the band plays, hail to the chief, Lord knows they point the cannon at you. Tell them that the name.
There is a method to the madness of the establishment, but
I ain't no senator.
it's mainly like a crazy person making excuses for what they're doing. The truth is the establishment is just very nihilistic and doesn't care because they never get in trouble for what they do. TEPCO is now releasing contaminated water into the sea, a record 560 million tons of water a day. 560 tons of water a day. They just pump it right over the melted down reactors so they don't explode. And then it goes right in the ocean and it comes right across to us. And you've got 75% of reactors, according to CBS News. The Atomic Energy Commission says its agency says it's 91% of the 430 plus or whatever it is are leaking. For me, Mike Howard, a talk show host on 94.3 WNFZ in Knoxville, and one of our great affiliates that carries me, I guess, 6 days a week there. Always enjoy coming on your show. But looking at this, I'm just illustrating the same psychology. They used to run nuclear plants better. Most plants in the U.S. are leaking, and they've turned off the alarms, like in Southern California, saying, well, we don't want to scare people. We're going to violate federal law. We've been given a waiver. The alarms won't go on now when we release radiation. And Ann Coulter says radiation's not bad for you. It really just sounds like crazy town to me.
Well, and of course, you know, it's crazy town if we talk about it, not if they talk about it. If they say it, then it's fact. You know, it's backed by science. Well, why? Well, because we said there was a scientist that said it. Well, who is it? It's Bill Nye the Science Guy. He's not really a scientist, but you know, he plays one on TV. So believe that he's a scientist.
Well, JAMA just came out and said if you think cell phones are bad for your brain, you're insane. When there's literally over 1,000 studies, London Guardian last week says definitely brain cancer.
Yeah.
And then JAMA just says, doesn't matter, you're nuts. It's crazy town.
Yeah. Yeah. The absolute ego, the egomaniacal, just the insane hubris that comes out of DC each and every day. You stand back and I'm awed by it. I mean, I am absolutely dumbfounded by it every day because people just buy into it. They say they accept it. They say that's fine because they said so. Because they told us Obamacare was good, we're just going to accept it as good. We see that it's bad. We know it's bad, but we're going to believe that it's good because we can't believe anything less than that. The only way it changes, is that people need to start, A, holding their leaders accountable. And then B, they need to hold themselves accountable. We need to look back in the mirror and say, look, you know, we keep sending these people back here. Why do we do that? We start small. You start locally. You start with your own leaders in your own community. And then you move on to your state, then you move on to your region.
That's right.
And eventually people in DC go, oh, hey, something's going on right there.
That's right. And the bureaucrats that are out there, they have to realize that believing their own propaganda isn't working anymore. The corporate people, the police. I want to come back and do 5 more minutes with you. What is your take on the domestic, but start talking about it now, the domestic buildup against veterans and the police saying, yeah, we're getting armored vehicles for the coming war with vets. I mean, how obvious is that?
You know, to stand there and say, look, here's good men that are going to stand up and fight. I mean, here we are in Tennessee. We had the Battle of Athens here where people took up arms, where vets came back and took up arms and said, look, there's bad things going on. We're going to fight back. That scares the hell out of the people up in D.C. So they want to go ahead and get the jump on it. We're going to go ahead and knock you down before you have a chance to build up. But you know what? Tyranny will always turn away from the light of good people.
That's right. Stay there. Tell folks about the Battle of Athens when we come back in 60 seconds. Mike Howard's our guest. After he leaves us, I'm going to have vets on with your VA stories. Stay with us. Third hour coming up and a bunch of other news. From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.